Hello, I'm Tom Ellis, and you are watching In Studio with The Hollywood Reporter.
Now I have to tell you, you may play the devil, but you have the voice of an angel.
Oh.
Would you agree?
Well, yes, no, I agree with that.
Okay.
Definitely I have a voice of an angel.
And the reason I say this is because Lucifer sings throughout the show a bit, but the way season 4 opens with your rendition of Creep is just so epic.
Oh.
What was the decision making behind that? Kind of kicking it off with that.
Well, that was a Joe and Ildy, our showrunners. Yeah. They decided that that's how we would start. It was quite nice because I, over the years that we've done Lucifer, I have come to them a lot of times with a lot of ideas, certainly when it comes to music. And last year, I always have a guitar in my trailer.
That's so good.
And I was talking to Ildy and I was like, oh, listen to this. And I'd come up with that version of Creep. And I was like, I think this would work on the show at some point. It feels so sort of Lucifer talking about Chloe somehow. I just don't know when or where. And then, lo and behold, this season, eventually we got this season. And I opened up the script and Joe had started the episode with it. So I was like, yes, there it is. But it felt right. It felt like the right time.
Well, it's perfect because he's singing to Chloe essentially,
yes,
based on where we leave things off in last season. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, we ended last season basically where Lucifer kills Pierce, or Cain. In that moment, he starts to remember what it's like to be the devil again and what it is to punish people again, and he starts to enjoy it. And that's when his devil face starts to come back, but he doesn't realise it at the time. And then Chloe comes in, and he stands up and he turns around, and for the first time ever, she sees him as the devil. And that's where we left it.
We'll get to that, where that takes off in season 4, but you also had a song on your Instagram where you were thanking fans for kind of bringing Lucifer back.
Oh, yes.
Do you want to say anything today to thank them for watching currently on Netflix?
I won't burst into song, but I will just say, thank you everybody that hashtag Save Lucifer. There are millions of you out there, and the fact that you still come to me now and say, I did this and I put for the show and I tweeted for the show, and I can't thank you enough, and anyone involved in the show can't thank you enough. And it feels like now you are shareholders in the show Lucifer.
Going back, though, to when you found out Fox wasn't picking it up, what was your reaction in terms of what you thought you'd miss most about the show?
My friends.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a really tight, we call it a family there, but it does feel like that. We spend a lot of time with each other, and we all really like each other, which doesn't always happen. And, we all really loved making the show. So, one of the big feelings when the show was cancelled was, oh my God, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see these people. I mean, obviously we'll remain friends with them, but on that day-to-day, we were so used to seeing each other and working with each other. And so that was a big thing. And then past that, I just think the character of Lucifer, I just would really miss not playing him. He's been a huge part of my life for the last few years, and I've really enjoyed it. And, that doesn't always happen as an actor either. So when you're onto something good, you kind of want to keep going with it until it gets to a point where it's like, okay, well, we're flogging a dead horse now.
Yeah.
but
you guys aren't.
No, it felt like, to be honest with you, it felt like the show was cancelled, I think, at the intermission.
Yeah.
We'd been playing this conceit out for 3 seasons, and all of a sudden, when Chloe finally finds out he is the devil, we want to know what happens then.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, where we left the show, I think that was a big reason why people were just like, well, you can't stop there. We were watching that.
Going back to, obviously being so attached to Lucifer, but when you first kind of found out in season 1 when you got the role, what was your reaction to that, and kind of what resonated you most with Lucifer?
I mean, I was really happy. I'd just done a show called Rush on USA, and that had been like a huge, big experience for me, and it was like my first sort of big job in America. And I was gutted when that got cancelled, but I kind of,
You have the devil's luck.
I had to lap it up and just kind of get on with it. But, doing that show did me a lot of favours as an actor, and, the approach the following pilot season from the networks was very different to my experience before. So it was more that they were trying to find something for me as opposed to me auditioning for stuff. And also, over the years I've become a lot more judicious in my reading of pilot scripts. And you have a feeling about whether something would work out or not. And I'd read all these scripts, and I was like, no, this isn't the one. This is a hash up of last year's pilot that I did or whatever. And then this script came in for Lucifer, and I was like, oh, here we go, Lucifer. I wonder what this one's about. So I opened it up, and literally within about 3 pages, I'd laughed out loud several times, and I just thought, this character's great. How much fun is this? And it kept getting better and better, and I just thought, this is the one. This is the one I want to do, and this is one I think, it plays to my strengths.
That's so great. Now, getting to when Netflix picked it up after it was canceled, what excited you most about kind of joining the Netflix family and having the show translate to that?
I think there's a couple of things. I mean, having that sort of a resurgence of energy, because a show, when you do it for a long time, it's quite difficult to kind of feel like you're fresh about it. And so the cancellation and then going to Netflix, it gave it a new kind of like impetus. I was excited about doing 10 episodes because doing 22 episodes of a network season is not only grueling, it's just really difficult to make all the episodes good. And with the opportunity of doing 10 episodes, I knew with what we had on our hands as a story that these had the potential to be 10 really strong, great episodes. And not only that, they would come out at the same time and people could binge them and do all that. There wasn't any of this kind of waiting.
We'll get into that. It's a binge show, and it was that waiting week to week thing, which on Netflix it works so well, having like this binge. And now the audiences are so excited about it, and there's new audiences excited about it.
Well, the other thing I would say is that like when it was on Fox, it then sort of slowly crept out to other places around the world, and it was picked up by other streamers. And a big reason why Netflix picked us up is because it did really well in territories for them where they had it. And so that that is something that not only gave it that fresh impetus, but I was excited about the prospect of suddenly all these people that had slowly caught up with the show, and they made themselves heard when the campaign happened. They were all about to be able to watch it all together at once, and that is going to be a whole new experience.
And react on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of the territories, you were just in Germany at a fan convention. Is that right? Can you kind of tell us about that?
Yeah, I've done a few of them now. They're I mean, especially now with what's happened with the show and the fans being so part of that. It's I find them really humbling experiences and fun, and you get to meet the people that you actually make the show for, and not the critics. Not one person who has a column in a newspaper, who sort of seems to express everyone else's opinions. They're the ones who cancel
those one column.
Exactly. But no, these are just places where people come to meet the people in the shows, and we get to talk to them. We do Q&As, and I always come away from those things feeling really good, like good things have happened, and there's a good feeling, and I am all about good feeling. I think there's so much not good feeling in the world at the moment that if you can harness that and harbour it somehow, then do it.
And to have a show like Lucifer be entertaining to people.
Yeah, be entertained and also get to meet the people that entertain them, and they get to know us a bit more personally. And I was there with Kevin and Leslie Ann and DB and Rachel, and we just, we all laugh together every day at work. And for people to see that on a stage is a very different experience.
Your scenes with DB are some of my favorite. Every time he calls you Lucy, I just think it's the funniest thing ever.
I love DB. He's just, he's such a great guy. The part that has been one of my favourite things about the show is actually that relationship with the brothers.
That's awesome.
That kind of simmering resentment, but they always have to put it to one side.
You've joked that it's always been Joe Henderson's mission to show your butt, and mission accomplished. Mission accomplished
quite early on as well. Yeah. I think it was interesting because when we got the call, when we moved to Netflix, and there was a lot of speculation about, is the show going to change? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Is it going to be darker? Is it going to... Yeah. And the truth is that when the whole cancellation and Save Lucifer happened, what we became really aware of was that our audience was not only big, but it was eclectic.
Yeah.
A huge kind of age range, kids right through to grandparents, and their parents, and like boyfriends and girlfriends watch it together, and uncles and aunts, and the people at these fan conventions always come up and go, I watch it with such and such.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of shows that do that cater for such a broad audience. And so we then thought about, why is that? I think a lot of it is because we weren't able to go far on Fox. We weren't able to push it too much. We weren't able to go vulgar. We weren't able to curse. We weren't able to show too much flesh.
Yeah.
And so that meant it was kind of safe, but a bit naughty for people. And that's part of the charm, and that's the character of Lucifer himself. It's a bit cheeky.
It's almost as if Lucifer gets to be more himself, kind of.
Exactly. And so what we wanted to preserve was that, and also Netflix were quite adamant about this, that the show that they picked up that's what they wanted. Yeah. They didn't want a new version of the show.
No, definitely not.
And we didn't want to alienate our our viewers, because it seems we've got quite a lot of them. So it's like, we don't want to change it for the detriment of anything, just because we can.
Yeah.
But what we have done in certain areas is we've pushed it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit. And just to the point where I hope it will make people laugh, and it won't turn people off.
Big Ben strikes 10 was quite funny.
Dong.
Dong, yeah. Now, at the beginning of season 4, we see Lucifer kind of struggle with Chloe not accepting him and kind of seeing that side of him. And it's a really vulnerable moment for Lucifer. How was that, exploring that dynamic this season? And she's also on this mission kind of to take him down at some point, and that kind of turns up.
I mean, I loved a lot of the scenes that I did with Lauren this year because we were able to go to places that we've not before. Yeah.
Like you two together are like incredible.
We adore each other in real life, and we love working together, and we laugh so much together. But I think we're both really invested in this relationship as well, and it is the kind of the heartbeat of the show. Chloe and Lucifer, will they or won't they get together? And any good show over the years, there's always something like that at the centre of it.
The way the show did it, though, it brought it to it wasn't like they didn't get together right away, or it was just kind of the way they carried the story was very well done.
And the biggest thing about their relationship this season is the actions that Chloe takes after she finds out Lucifer is the devil.
Yeah.
That to Lucifer portrays itself as the biggest betrayal that could ever happen. In a relationship that was based on trust and truth, she's gone away and she's teamed up with someone to get rid of him. When he finds that out, he cannot get his head around it at all. And that is the biggest thing.
It surprised me how fast he found out, actually, in season 4.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't troubled by the speed of our storytelling in it, because I felt that there was more to tell once he found out.
You figure out why.
So, yes, but I love the fact that, we spend our first 3 episodes kind of trying to find out what happens as a result of Chloe finding out. And then, because of her actions, it means that their relationship will never be the same again. Even if they still have this kind of magnetic thing that means they can't be apart from each other, the fact that she's betrayed him, that will always live in their relationship and always hurt him.
Do you think they'll ever have a happily ever after, though? Where do you see it going? Not just this season, I guess, but throughout the entire show. I think if we were ever lucky enough to be one of those shows where we know this is going to be the final season, so we're able to craft it in a way where we tell our story to the maximum amount. I've always in my head kind of felt like there would be some resolution between Chloe and Lucifer, and somehow, and it would be to do with love. The devil's in love. With Chloe's reaction to the side of him, and I was curious, what was your reaction kind of to seeing Lucifer's face as an actor, kind of getting that right when you guys first started?
It's in the pilot when you see Lucifer, you get a tiny little glimpse in the pilot, and we actually had a double that came in, and he was made up prosthetically, and that's how we shot that. But even when I saw him, I was like, okay, well, I can get a good feeling as to how people might react to this. I think and a lot of that hinges on our actors as well that come in.
Their reactions,
and Jimmy Barnes, when he reacts to Lucifer, and we go to episode 2 and he's in a mental asylum and he's smashing his head against the glass wall, people would rather do anything than come in contact with that person again.
And you see flashes of that in Chloe's head.
Yeah, absolutely.
How people reacted to it.
So that kind of terror that people experience is something that she's never experienced. And so the sort of conundrum for Chloe this season is, I know that everyone says the devil is this, and even though I now know he is the devil, that's not the man I know. So what do I do about it? And it's a wonderful conundrum to play out story-wise.
So conflicted. With season 4, we see the introduction of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
What stood out to you most about their relationship between her and Lucifer?
Between Lucifer and Chloe?
Yeah.
Lucifer and Eve. We wanted to play with the notion that Eve was Lucifer's first, and you never forget your first. There's always a place for them in your heart somewhere. But I think Lucifer assumes that he will never ever see Eve again. Once she goes to heaven with Adam, that's it. Then, of course, she turns up from nowhere at Lucifer's kind of lowest ebb, where he's sort of said to the detective, I need you to accept me for all of me, and can you ever do that? And she says, I don't know. And he's like, well, that's it. Okay. He's in a bit of a mess. And then Eve comes along from nowhere, and she sparks something in Lucifer, a recognition or a kind of a feeling of comfort somehow.
And then she calls him her boyfriend, and he
yeah, and then it kind
away.
of quickly kind of like disintegrates from that very innocent start to actually she's got a motivation for being there. Her motivation for being there is that she wants him back, but she doesn't want the Lucifer back that our viewers have come to know. She wants the Lucifer back that she remembers from the Garden of Eden. And so we've got this kind of weird role reversal where Eve is now tempting the devil to go back to his devilish ways and just be that kind of hedonistic, don't care, crazy devil. Whilst at the same time he's sort of been trying to prove to people that he is not the person everyone thinks he is. So what it creates in Lucifer is this kind of sort of Jekyll and Hyde, where he is one person with one and one person with another, and can we exist like that? And when you're trying to please everybody, it always gets to a point where it breaks, and he breaks.
And it gets to that point.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite case throughout the show?
Cases that I've loved. I think, we had a case in season 2 which involved this this doctor who was poisoning people, and then of course he dies and it was told over like 2 or 3 parts. And which
isn't usually.
It's not always the case. We have a kind of week to week, but I enjoy it more when we've got a case that sort of stretches slightly over a few episodes, because it's a good case, and there's a bit more nuance, a bit more. Like we dig a bit deeper than we do on certain ones. So that was probably my favourite one, going down to hell and having to get the kind of the solution to this anti thing, and the way that I climaxed in that episode. That's one of my favourite episodes we've ever done.
Lastly, what can you tease about next season?
I strongly hope there's a season 5.
Yeah.
We'll find out about that soon.
What do you think? Is there?
Oh, I think we've left the door open for season 5 for sure. And I think again, it's like I don't feel like we finished telling our story really. And I think when people watch the end of the season, they're not going to want it to finish there.
Yeah.
Well, where we end up at the end of season 4 is Lucifer retaking the throne in hell. And the fact that you haven't seen it yet, and the look on your face,
seen the first 6.
It's like, okay, I don't think it's what people will be expecting.
Gosh.
He's gone there. And it's the first time that Chloe's actually just said to him, I love you, you can't do this, don't go, I love you.
Oh my gosh. So what's going to happen?
Who knows?
That's crazy. Are we ever going to see Miranda return?
We've talked about potentially doing maybe a couple of specials at some point, because I think there is, again, it's that thing of like, I think Miranda felt we very much told the story at that time, and she's someone who I really respect about the fact that she doesn't want to, like we were talking about earlier, she doesn't want to flog something till it's dead. She wants to leave it a high quality product out there that people can go back to. And so there were times where we talked about doing a movie, and then we realised that I didn't think that was the best idea.
Why not? Just because?
Well, I think a big part of the show of Miranda is it's done in front of a live audience, but the live audience are kind of part of the show as well. And you wouldn't have that doing a movie, and I just think it would feel a bit removed from the world that we'd set up. But I think going back and doing some specials and talking about Gary and Miranda in married life with children is something we'd quite like to visit at some point.
That'd be so great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Oh, thank you.
Make sure to watch Lucifer, streaming now on Netflix. Sharpen your horns. Thanks for being here.